What's up? How you doing? Here we are in the evening. We're gonna eat spaghetti tonight, and it's not Wednesday, but it's Thursday. Went to the sporting goods store today. I bought one of these. Anybody who plays golf knows exactly what this is. So you basically strengthen your arms and upper body by swinging this. It's got a little bit of weight to it right here, although you can remove the bottom piece and make it a little bit lighter. Remember, Evel Knievel had a cane that had a thing that would unscrew on the top, and he would take it off, and inside he had a little drinky poo, a little beverage. I think it was Wild Turkey, 101 proof. Keep one there and have a little drink, but I prefer to have this in here. You can extend it, but yeah, you basically practice swinging as if you're swinging a golf club, a driver. So that, and then I was thinking, about jumping like Evel Knievel, always popping into my head. I was fascinated with that whole sport of jumping. The whole thing about defying gravity, picking up enough speed and getting that lift and remaining in the air for half a second and then landing. That was that feeling when you're up in the air. It's like you're flying in a plane, and then boom, it's over. I was thinking, wouldn't it have been a great idea if NASA contacted Evel Knievel in the early 70s and said to him, for a publicity stunt to raise some money, we could sell this on pay-per-view, closed circuit television. We could have you, Evel Knievel, get on the rocket, go to the moon with a couple of other people, astronauts, and a special motorcycle, and a couple of ramps. We'll assemble them on the moon, and you could jump over one of those big craters, and we'll sell tickets, make some money, and promote NASA. I don't know, nobody thought of that? I would have been calling up Evel Knievel on my own if I was part of NASA, and I would have said, hey, I have an idea. Would you be willing to jump on the moon? And keep in mind, it's a lot easier than jumping on the Earth. Less gravity, landing would be a lot lighter, a lot easier. They should have contacted him. Now, they don't even go to the moon anymore. We've kind of reversed progress. In the 60s, 1969, we went to the moon, and then by the time the 80s rolled around, we were just flying in low Earth orbit. Just go around the planet. So the achievement that we had in the 60s and early 70s was much bigger than anything we were doing in the 80s. We went to the moon in 1969, 1970, 71, and then we said, oh, too expensive. Let's just go around the Earth a few times. And, from the 80s till now, well, now the space shuttle has been retired. We're still waiting. Now they do these little things with, smaller events. But back in the 80s, space shuttle takes off, going around the planet. Yes, they built a space station. That's very impressive. But compared to what they were doing in the 60s and early 70s, doesn't even come close. Doesn't even come close. I know it was very expensive, but I would have called up Evel Knievel and I would have said, hey, you want to jump on the moon? That thing would have sold billions of dollars worth of tickets. Pay-per-view. Even ABC, Wide World of Sports, the advertisement on that, you could have had a 2-hour special, could have had Wild Turkey advertising on that, any GMC trucks, Chevy, I don't know, Ford, big money all over the world, not just here in the US. Could have sold $2 billion worth of advertisement. But did anybody ask Evel Knievel? No. Nobody. Imagine that. Posters of the moon and Evel Knievel with the ramps jumping over a crater in the Sea of Tranquility. I would have seen that. I would have watched that. They could call anybody now if they want and say, hey, we're gonna go to the moon. You want to jump? We'll sell tickets. Anyway, I had a bike back in those days that was not made for jumping, but I made it jump. A Polo Ross 5-speed. It was like a chopper bike. Handlebars were up here, had a banana seat, and I used to take that everywhere. It was kind of like my car. I would go far with it. Nobody knew where I was. And jumping all the time jumping with that. Matter of fact, I had to go down to the bicycle shop every so often to tighten up my spokes because my tire would get wobbly. I did the classic jumping. Jump, land on the back tire, and then land on the front. But I remember one time I was walking by a welder's shop, and he was welding stuff. And I get the idea, why don't I bring my bike to him, and on the frame he could weld an extension to the back, you know, weld it onto the frame of the bike, and then I could have a third person sitting there, and then, you know, because I thought it was kind of like my bike, have a third person sitting there, so it would be me on my banana seat, and then a person behind me on my banana seat, and then on that extension I would have another person. I kept thinking about it. I never did it because then I started thinking, well, that extra weight in the back is going to lift up the front tire. Can't do that. So that never happened. And then I knew somebody who ended up getting a decent 10-speed bike. And we were going down a hill, and I was on my chopper, my 5-speed chopper. And he blew right by me. No matter how hard I pedaled, that bike just much faster. And I said, oh man, I gotta get something faster. My bike is way too slow. So I said it's time to get a new bike. And Huffy, which does not make the best bikes, but Huffy was advertising this new thing called the 15-speed Huffy. And it was like $109. And I said, wow, 15 speeds, that's even better than the 10-speed. I'll be going really fast. So I ended up buying it, and it was just not the best bike. I didn't enjoy it at all. It didn't have speed. It was a cheap bike, and it's not the amount of speed, you know, the speed you have on a bike. It's the design, it's the weight, technology on it, you know, the pedals, all that. That's what really makes it fast, not the fact that you have 15 speeds on a cheap bike. So no matter what I did, that bike was just not enjoyable to me. I didn't like it. I missed my bike. Then I thought, why don't I combine the two? So I went to the basement and I took the 15-speed apart, and I took the other bike, the Apollo Ross. I took that apart, and I took the steering wheel, the chopper, I put it on that 15-speed, and then I added these metal spikes into the frame so I could have another person grabbing on me, stepping on the spike sticking out of the side of the frame, and I changed the 15-speed seat, and I put a banana seat on that. It was totally ridiculous, and I kind of had that for about a month, and then I got fed up with it, and I put it in the dumpster. Kind of like that scene on The Karate Kid where he's all pissed off because he fell off the side. They pushed him off the side of that hill. He comes home, and I hate this bike, I hate this bike, I hate this bike, and he puts it in the dumpster. Meantime, it wasn't the bike's fault. Cobra Kai. But every once in a while I go on eBay and I look up the Apollo Ross 5-speed, and there are people selling those online, used ones obviously because they stopped making them, and I get tempted to buy one. You know, that bike was I really enjoyed that bike. It belonged to me. It was one of those things, I felt like they designed it specifically for me. And then, you know, going really fast, hitting the brakes and doing a 180 with the back tire locked, jumping down stairs, jumping off of sidewalks that were extra high, jumping off of ramps, jumping off of jagged rocks, jumping off of dirt mounds at the field. Such a good time. Anyway, gonna cook the spaghetti and do some nice tomato sauce and have a meal tonight. That's it.